Hi everybody, welcome to Iredell-Statesville Schools EDTalks. Our guest today is Mark Shinkaruk, who is the principal of Lake Norman Elementary School. Hi Mark, thanks for coming by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, good things going on down at Lake Norman. It's one of our premier schools down in the Mooresville community, and you do an excellent job down there along with your staff. And so we commend you for running such a great school down there.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about the history of Lake Norman Elementary.
Well, interestingly enough, this year is our 20th year. We're celebrating our 20th year of excellence in education. So we've been in the community for quite some time, and 20 years may not seem like a long time when you're up here in Statesville, but a lot's happened in Mooresville in 20 years, and a lot's happened in our school. We've gone through quite a bit of change. A long time, probably about 15 years ago or so, we had about 1,200 students at our school. And so we're down to about 450 now, and we've built several new schools in the Mooresville area. So it's gone through a lot of changes. We still have some staff, some original staff from when the school broke away from Mount Morn Elementary, and that's when it started 20 years ago. So a really neat place. We pride ourselves on having a neighborhood community school. When you come to our school, a lot of our students bike and walk to school, and their parents do the same with them in the morning. And that's kind of unique. Most of our schools in our district are more rural schools, and in Mooresville, there's just not that component to it. So we pride ourselves on that. You come in our school, you'll see handprints along our hallways. It's not uncommon to have former students to come by our school, college-age students to come by and look for their handprint in our hallways and things. So a really unique place. And just, I had a parent the other day to describe our school. She said, when I drop my student off at Lake Norman Elementary, I feel like I'm taking them home.
Wow.
So that's, pretty powerful words there by a parent. So that's kind of who we are. That's our identity.
Well, the culture and climate in your building is absolutely remarkable. I would say that most of the staff know every child by name in that building and know a little bit about that child. And there is that family feel on your campus. The folks that work there at Lake Norman take a lot of pride in the school, and they just love what they do, and it just radiates when you walk through the door down there.
Yeah, even some of our, most of our staff members that have children, bring their student. Our hallways, even after school, or sound like a school's in session because so many of our staff have children that attend school.
Right. I believe it was about 2002 maybe when Woodland Heights was built. And of course that pulled a lot of kids out of Lake Norman and brought your numbers down significantly. But there's also been some competition from charter schools and private schools and home schools and whatnot. So recently you and your staff have been looking at school options that you could put in place there to be a little more competitive and to give your community here in the Mooresville community another option. And so tell us about that journey and then the decision that y'all have recently made to add a new component there at your school.
Yeah, we've researched and looked into a lot of different choice programs and with your guidance and some of the help from the curriculum instruction department as well to kind of, I guess our challenge was to maintain our identity and keep all of those really rich, great things that are happening in our school, and then just add another layer, something there for our children to benefit from. So with a lot of research and input, and some input from our school improvement team and parents and just stakeholders in our community, we made the decision this year to add a dual immersion program for Spanish. Starting next school year for any rising kindergarten students. So we've collaborated with East Iredell Elementary, who has a very successful program there, and Amy Ryan, the principal there, and her staff have guided us in there. We did some tours with our staff, and it just seemed like a really good fit for our school, maintaining our excellence that we've had there, and then of course, the challenge now to create globally competitive students. I think it was just a really good mesh.
Yeah, I just really commend you and your staff and your parents for taking this bold step. And the Spanish Dual Immersion program does have a long history here in our school system. East Iredell was one of the first schools in this part of the state, actually, to begin dual immersion many, many years ago. They've had a very successful run with that at East Elementary. We've expanded it to East Middle School, and next year we'll be looking, not next school year, but the year following, we'll be looking at expanding it to Statesville High School as well. So there will be a full continuum in the Statesville community for Spanish dual immersion. We hope that same thing's going to take place now in Mooresville. And you are the bold risk taker that has stepped up and said, we're going to bring this to our community. I do think that in our country today, that any child that grows up and can be bilingual certainly has a strategic advantage out here in the workplace and the community. And so I think there will be a lot of people in the Mooresville community that will be interested in helping their child become bilingual. Tell us how it works. It begins in kindergarten, and then each year works its way up.
Yeah, this is a program that our parents will have to opt into. There's an application process that's a part of that. And so they opt into the program, and they stay in that cohort through their elementary career there. So as a kindergartner, we're going to expose them to the Spanish language 90% of the time, 10% in English, that 10% coming from when they go to their enhancement rotation. So art, music, PE, and computers will all be done in English, and then their curriculum, their core curriculum, math and language arts, social studies, and science will all be taught in Spanish as a kindergarten student. Then when they get to first grade and go from first to fifth grade, all of that, that'll be done in a 50-50 split. So we'll do like an A-day, B-day rotation. One day they'll be with a Spanish-speaking teacher who will speak all in Spanish. The next day they'll be with one of our current English-speaking teachers that'll teach them all in English. And the challenge there becomes partner teachers collaborating closely together. We won't be reteaching any of the concepts. It's not language through translation, it's immersion. So we're teaching them, I think that's a misconception that, you say a word and then translate them for them. Right. And that's not how the program works. So a little bit intimidating from some parents, but this is a model very closely to what we do when students come to our schools from out of country and English is not their native language. It's a very similar program there, and I've got students at our school that we've done that model with them, and they're very they pick up very fast. So as a 5-year-old, that's when you want to do that's much more difficult to acquire a second language as you get older.
Yeah, I remember as a teacher, we had a lot of Vietnamese children coming into the school system in the 70s and 80s. And I would watch those children. They were getting no help or instruction in English, but they would acquire English. And it was amazing on their own, the amount of English language that they would learn having been immersed in the English language. So it's the same concept, except we are deliberately teaching Spanish to those kids. And I will say, in watching the children that have progressed at East, it is absolutely amazing at how quickly they acquire that second language. I am absolutely convinced that the time to do this is when they are young. And there's a lot of brain research out there, too, that says teaching a language at this early age actually grows the brain and makes the student a better student all around in all subjects. So, wow, what a great opportunity that you're offering as a choice option to your parents and your community down here. You guys, your doors are wide open. You invite folks to come in constantly. If a parent wanted to come talk to you or take a tour or get more information about it, tell us how they can access that.
Yeah, we're, like you said, very, very much open to that. I do tours every week for parents. Some parents interested in the dual immersion program, and then other parents just interested in our school. And that's a point that I want to make sure that people understand, is that everything great about Lake Norman Elementary is still there, and it is not going to change. That we're just adding a layer to our school there. But yeah, they can contact our school, call the school, and schedule a tour. Parents sometimes drop by and we'll find a staff member, even if they dropped in, to do that. So they can do that. Registration, we have lots of information about our dual immersion program on our school website, some videos, and some fact sheets and things like that. So that's all available there. We are currently about half capacity right now. We're accepting 50 students in the dual immersion program. We have about 25 to 30 students right now registered there. It's filling up quick, and it's, like you said, been a very popular choice, I think, in our Mooresville area there. So yeah, call the school, check out our website. We have a very active social media, Facebook and Twitter, that we update constantly with pictures and information. So another great resource.
Well, I commend you. You're maintaining that rich tradition and heritage that you've earned over these 20 years as an excellent school, but you are offering this new option now. And so really the parents in the community have the best of both worlds. They can go with that traditional model or this exciting new dual immersion. So I commend you for being innovative and a risk taker, and thanks to you, your staff, and your community for offering this opportunity in the Mooresville community.
Thank you.
And good luck with it. Well, folks, thanks for tuning in. If you want more information, go to the Lake Norman Elementary School website and contact this vibrant young principal, Mark Shinkaruk. Thanks for tuning in.